I know him for a while now. And when I say for a while, it means probably like 3 months, but it feels, again, like an eternity. He is from Freepik. He is the Chief Experience Officer at Freepik. And I'm so excited to have him here in the chair today so I can ask him all the tough questions. Hey, Martin.
Hello.
How are you?
All good. Thank you.
So you're going to have a talk later, right?
Yes, in about an hour.
So in about an hour, okay, guys? Don't go and grab a coffee after this talk and then watch Martin's talk later. So, all right. We met in Stockholm about some months ago. I don't know, everything is blurry.
Yeah.
I don't know when it was exactly, but back then you mentioned a crazy number of users.
Yeah.
That Freepik already had. Where are we standing right now? How many users does Freepik have?
I think it's around 80 million.
80 million?
Per month.
Per month?
Yeah.
That is
visiting our
insane.
sites, yeah, using the apps.
Wow. What do you think is the success? Why does Freepik have that many users? What is the success story or the ingredient that makes Freepik so successful in this?
So Freepik is not, we're not a new company.
Yeah.
So we've been existing for around 15 years, and basically building out. I mean, it's called Freepik, and it started out being a library of images that you could download for free. So already there, you have a product that is like pretty, has a wide appeal. We've always been focused on SEO, so really, driving a large amount of traffic to the services, and that was sort of like, the history of being this stock photo company. And then around 2 years ago, when when you could see the early days of what generative AI could do for images, and when you're a stock photo company, you realize that you need you need to adapt, like change the company and the product. So we basically went, we haven't transitioned, all the customers are not using AI. I think it's around 20% of the subscribers who are using primarily AI. So we're still we still have a lot of momentum in the stock business, but the part of the business that is growing is image generation. We acquired Magnific, so we have upscaling. We have some retouch tools that are similar to what you can do in Firefly from Adobe. We have the latest. We launched video generation last year, which is really popular. We have View 2 and many of the other models. We have audio products and so on. So, we're going. The main focus of everything we do is in AI right now.
I mean, Freepik is a one-stop shop. If you want to create audiovisual material, if it's a music video, a commercial, a narrative piece, you just have to be on Freepik, and you get everything done.
We take a lot of pride in being the quickest to launch whatever model comes out. I think we already yesterday launched Imagen 4, which was announced at Google I/O. So
check that out, guys.
Something like, I guess, less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So and I know that the team is already working on VO3 coming within days, right? So that's what we do. So moving quickly.
Thinking about Freepik and where it's at right now and where you came from. I know you founded a company before that.
Yeah.
iConfinder.
Yes.
And that was acquired by Freepik.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that was a highly successful business. It was acquired. What would you tell yourself from some years ago? Would you do something differently? Would you do it exactly? Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So no, I mean that like whenever I started the little backstory is that I was working as a web designer. I started doing web design professionally around 2002 when I was started there was like HTML, CSS, Photoshop, that kind of like stack, and just doing cranking out websites for customers. And I started working a lot in e-commerce, e-commerce customers, and you had to always at that time it was the first web shops, and we were doing work where we said to these kind of web shops, we can do a redesign, and you will pay us for zero, no money if we don't increase your conversion rate.
Oh wow!
And then it would be tiered. So if we can increase your conversion rate by 20%, we would get the highest tier of payment. But we knew a technique
business
like
model.
it was like but it was like the some time ago before you had like conversion rate optimization and so on.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did was actually we went in and installed. It was like even before it was called Google Analytics, it was called Urchin. So the product that became Google Analytics, we were installing that. So these web shop owners, they didn't have any analytics at all. We install analytics. We start doing user testing, and then it when you have all that data suddenly, it's not hard to increase conversion rate. So,
Right.
But one of the steps we very often did was that we could have these UI and there were like no icons, and we knew that as soon as we started like adding icons and so on, you could always like get a few percent of improve the UI a bit.
Right.
So I started like needing icons, and at that time there was like no way to get icons. The only way to get icons would be you would go to iStock Photo. You could buy like an EPS file with 40 icons, and then you had to go into Illustrator and then pick them out, right? And I got really tired of doing that. So building basically icon finder for my own need, and then it got popular. And that was already back in 2007. So it was the first icon search engine, and then when I was done with school and so on, I started working full time. It became a marketplace, and then eventually. It was sort of like working in parallel with the guys from FreePic. So they launched another product called Flat Icon, and we were sort of like competing. So I knew the guys, and then at some point they reached out. We were like shipping a few features they liked, and then they reached out and just said like, "Why don't you join?" So
that's amazing.
So we joined in 2022.
22.
Yeah, and we still have like a few of the employees from Microfind are still
awesome.
here. Yeah, so I have my old buddies and everything. So it's really
cool.
good. Yeah, I love it.
So for someone that is starting a startup.
Yeah. You're also asking me a question. You're asking me what I would do differently.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Now we're getting into
so you can see that was like a long. I was quite young at when I started the company, and back then I was really focused on how quickly I could get into working full time. Because I was just so excited about the project, and this was sort of like pre-revenue, and there was a few people who were saying to me, Martin, don't raise money. It's a bad idea. You should just like put like integrate PayPal, whatever. It was like before Stripe. Integrate PayPal, start charging customers, and just whenever you get like more income, you can increase the number of hours that you're spending on the product. So kind of growing it organically. But at that time, this was like 2011, 10, and so on. It was like really big that everybody had to raise money. It was like people had to go if you're a Danish company, everybody would say you have to go to Silicon Valley and raise money. That was like the default, and it has changed since then. It's way more acceptable that you just you stay in Berlin, you stay in Copenhagen, you stay where you are, and you can raise money from right now. I think after COVID, also meeting people virtually is way more common. So
it's more accepted.
But it was just like a different world back then. So, but I raised money, but probably my advice to myself from back then would be, take the advice of charging your customers, because you could still raise money. But I had a lot of traffic, and I could probably have paid myself a low salary, and then I would be able to raise money without having my back against the wall. And
True.
So I think that one would probably be number one. And then there's like all the typical ones, like in the beginning you're sort of like maybe a soft manager and you don't fire people quickly enough, and I did all the mistakes of being a manager with no experience.
But doing all the mistakes is good, because then you're learning for the next one, right? So that's incredible. So I hope, guys, you got a little glimpse in how what you should do and what you should not do at a startup. But now, I mean, Iconfinder is integrated in FreePic, and it's a success story, which is amazing and lovely and wonderful. Thank you so much, Martin, for having me having you, I guess. We are going back to stage, and we have two more speakers today. The first one should be John Geta, and then Martin. Okay, so stay tuned. Martin is gonna have his talk in a little while. See you guys.
Thank you.